Hello friends, welcome to my channel Old Coins Quarter Dollar, where we explore the fascinating world of old and rare coins from around the world. In every video, we dive deep into the history, value, and interesting facts about some of the most collectible and valuable coins ever minted. If you love coin collecting or simply enjoy learning about history through coins, you're in the right place. Make sure to watch the video till the end. Share, and subscribe to my channel for regular updates on valuable coins you might have in your collection. Person with praying hands, thanks for your support. Let's get started. Person with praying hands. The New Hampshire State Quarter, released in the year 2000, is the ninth coin issued in the 50 State Quarters program and the last quarter of that year's group. Like all state quarters, its obverse carries a familiar portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This image, created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932, was adapted from a bust of Washington by Jean-Antoine Houdon, and became one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coinage. For the State Series, engraver William Cousins modified Flanagan's work slightly to improve clarity with modern minting. Around Washington's left-facing bust appear the standard inscriptions: United States of America at the top, Liberty to the left, In God We Trust to the right, and Quarter Dollar at the bottom. To the right of Washington's tied ponytail is the mint mark, D in this case of the Denver Mint, though coins were also struck at Philadelphia and San Francisco. This consistent obverse across all 50 state issues provides a sense of unity, while the reverse tells New Hampshire's unique story. The reverse design of the New Hampshire Quarter is among the most iconic of the series, celebrating both the state's natural heritage and its independent spirit. The central image depicts the famous Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation located on Cannon Mountain in Franconia Notch. This remarkable profile, resembling the face of a man jutting from the cliffside, had long been a symbol of the state and was officially adopted as the emblem of New Hampshire in 1945. The design on the coin shows a craggy outcropping in careful detail, with the face's forehead, nose, lips, and chin clearly visible. Framing the image are inscriptions that reinforce its symbolic weight. At the top appears the state's name, New Hampshire, followed by the year of statehood, 1788, when it became the ninth state admitted to the Union. To the right of the rock profile, in bold lettering, is the state motto, Live Free or Die. This stirring phrase, attributed to Revolutionary War hero General John Stark, captures New Hampshire's fierce commitment to liberty and independence, a defining aspect of its identity. Along the bottom rim are the inscription 2000 and E Pluribus Unum. The motto Live Free or Die deserves special attention, for it is one of the most dramatic and uncompromising of all U.S. state mottos. Spoken by General Stark in 1809 as part of a toast honoring Revolutionary War veterans, the full phrase was, "Live free or die. Death is not the worst of evils." Stark's words echo the American Revolution's ethos of self-determination and resistance to tyranny. By placing this motto on its state quarter, New Hampshire not only honors its history, but also presents itself to the world as a state that values freedom above all else. When combined with the image of the Old Man of the Mountain, a natural figure that seemed to stand watch over the land, the quarter becomes a powerful statement of rugged independence and stoic resilience. When it was released in the year 2000, the New Hampshire Quarter was struck in enormous numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver Mints, with San Francisco producing proof and silver-proof versions. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 673 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 495 million, bringing the total circulation strikes to well over 1 billion pieces. The San Francisco Mint added both clad proof for collectors and 90% silver proof for premium sets. With such high mintages, circulated examples of the New Hampshire Quarter are extremely common today, often found in pocket change. However, pristine uncirculated specimens and proofs, especially those graded highly by professional services like PCGS or NGC, attract strong collector interest. The Old Man of the Mountain carries added poignancy because only 3 years after the release of this coin, in May 2003, the natural rock formation collapsed and crumbled into the valley below. Centuries of freezing and thawing had gradually weakened the stone, and despite efforts to reinforce it with steel cables, gravity and erosion finally prevailed. The collapse was a moment of deep sadness for New Hampshire residents, who had considered the profile not only a state symbol but part of their cultural identity. As a result, The state quarter became an even more significant keepsake, capturing in coinage what nature no longer preserved. Today, the New Hampshire quarter stands as a permanent memorial to the old man of the mountain, ensuring its image endures even after its physical form vanished. From a collector's perspective, the New Hampshire quarter offers multiple avenues of interest. While circulated examples are common and worth face value, mint state coins, those preserved directly from mint rolls or sets without circulation wear, can be worth premiums, particularly in higher grades such as MS65, MS67, or better. Proof issues, especially the silver proofs, combine numismatic artistry with intrinsic silver value, making them popular in both coin and bullion markets. Error coins, such as double dies, misaligned dies, or off-center strikes, are also highly collectible, as they transform a common issue into a rare piece of minting history. Some collectors specialize in assembling full runs of state quarters from both mints in gem condition, and the New Hampshire issue holds a prominent place as one of the early and symbolically powerful designs. Beyond value, the quarter resonates on a cultural level. It educates Americans and the world about New Hampshire's history, philosophy, and landmarks. The coin highlights not a man-made building, monument, or political figure, but rather natural rock formation paired with a revolutionary motto. This choice underscores New Hampshire's preference for rugged naturalism and unflinching independence over grandeur artifice. It reminds the holder that states are not only defined by their governments and cities, but also by their landscapes and ideals. Even 2 decades later, the New Hampshire state quarter remains one of the most distinctive in the series. For Vermonters, Kentuckians, or North Carolinians, their quarters speak to songs, traditions, or moments of innovation. For New Hampshire, the coin speaks to liberty, natural majesty, and loss. The old man of the mountain, once gazing stoically from the mountainside, now lives only in memory, in art, and in this coin. That makes the 2000 quarter not just a piece of money, but a small piece of cultural preservation. Its wide circulation means nearly every American has handled one at some point, unknowingly holding a symbol of vanished natural wonder and a timeless declaration of freedom. The Vermont State Quarter, issued in 2001, was the 4th coin released that year and the 14th overall in the 50 State Quarters program, a series that transformed American coin collecting by introducing a new design for each state between 1999 and 2008. On the obverse, the design is uniform across the entire series, featuring the portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This bust, originally engraved by John Flanagan for the Washington Quarter's introduction in 1932, was slightly modified by William Cousins in the 1990s to accommodate modern minting techniques and the needs of the state series. Surrounding Washington's profile are the familiar inscriptions: United States of America at the top, Liberty to the left, In God We Trust to the right, and quarter dollar at the bottom. The mint mark, either P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco proofs, appears beside Washington's tied ponytail. While the obverse honors a continuity of U.S. coinage and national unity, the reverse celebrates a unique story of Vermont. The reverse of the Vermont Quarter offers a striking and rustic design centered on the state's agricultural and cultural traditions. The main image depicts a pair of maple trees, their trunks sturdy and their bare branches stretching upward in the design. Affixed to the trees are maple sap buckets, an instantly recognizable symbol of Vermont's centuries-old practice of maple sugaring. This process, in which sap is collected from maple trees in the late winter and boiled down into syrup, has long been associated with Vermont's identity, economy, and heritage. Beneath the trees, in the background, rises Camel's Hump Mountain, one of Vermont's most iconic natural landmarks. Its distinct double-peak silhouette is a treasured symbol of the state's rugged landscape and is frequently referenced in art, literature, and folklore. The combination of maple trees and mountain imagery captures the essence of Vermont as both a place of natural beauty and cultural tradition. Encircling this imagery are inscriptions that anchor the coin in both state and national history. At the top is the name Vermont, followed by 1791, the year the state entered the Union as a 14th state. To the lower left of the design, in bold lettering, appears the state motto, Freedom and Unity. This motto reflects the delicate balance Vermont has historically sought between individual independence and communal responsibility, a duality that resonates in the state's political and cultural ethos. The lower band of the coin carries a familiar Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, uniting Vermont's distinct identity with a broader American story. At the bottom, the issue year 2001 marks its place within the national series. The symbolism of this design is rich and layered. Maple sugaring has been practiced in Vermont since the time of Native American tribes such as the Abenaki, long before European settlers arrived. Over time, maple syrup production became both a household practice and a commercial industry, with Vermont eventually earning global fame as a leading producer of high-quality maple syrup. By depicting sap buckets on the coin, the U.S. Mint immortalized a living tradition that still thrives today. Meanwhile, Camel's Hump Mountain represents both the rugged natural beauty and the independence of Vermont's people. Its solitary prominence on the horizon has made it a symbol of endurance, simplicity, and natural majesty. Together, these elements form a design that feels earthy, authentic, and deeply rooted in Vermont's culture. From a numismatic standpoint, the 2001 Vermont Quarter was struck in massive numbers, reflecting the immense popularity of the state quarters program. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 459 million circulation strikes, while the Denver Mint added more than 448 million, for a total of nearly 1 billion coins distributed nationwide. In addition, the San Francisco Mint struck both clad-proof versions and 90% silver-proof versions, intended for collectors and sold in special mint sets. Because of these enormous mintage figures, circulated Vermont quarters are common and easily found in pocket change even today, more than 2 decades later. Their value in circulated condition remains 25 cents, but uncirculated and proof examples are where collector interest grows. In higher grades, particularly Mint State 65, MS65, or better, the Vermont Quarter can command premiums, as luster, strike sharpness, and lack of mark become important in grading. Proof versions, especially those in deep cameo condition with sharp contrast between frosted devices and mirror-like fields, are particularly desirable to serious collectors. Silver proofs combine the artistry of the design with the tangible value of precious metal, making them popular in both numismatic and bullion markets. Additionally, error coins, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks, are of special interest as they transform a common piece into a rare collectible. The Vermont Quarter also resonates beyond its physical form, acting as a cultural ambassador. For Vermonters, it captures the dual essence of their home state, an enduring independence that values personal freedom, balanced with a commitment to community and tradition, as reflected in the motto Freedom and Unity. For outsiders, the coin offers a snapshot of what Vermont is best known for: maple syrup and mountains, simplicity and natural beauty. In this way, the quarter acts as both a piece of money and a miniature work of public history, educating millions about Vermont through circulation. When viewed in the context of the broader 50-state quarters program, Vermont's coin fits beautifully among its peers. While some states chose designs emphasizing political history, famous individuals, or monuments, Vermont's choice of natural and agricultural themes highlights the diversity of America's heritage. It reminds us that not all history is built in marble or written in documents. Some history is lived in the cycles of the seasons, the harvesting of sap, and the rugged peaks of a mountain range. Even today, the Vermont Quarter holds an enduring charm for both collectors and casual observers. Its rustic design and deeply symbolic motto set it apart, making it one of the more memorable quarters in the series. Though not rare in terms of availability, its beauty and cultural resonance ensure its place as a cherished coin in many state quarter collections. It stands as proof that even the smallest object, a 25-cent piece of copper nickel, can carry within it centuries of tradition, natural beauty, and human values. The North Carolina State Quarter, released in 2001, stands as one of the most historically powerful and visually striking entries in the 50-state quarters program. On its obverse, the coin continues a uniform design of the series, a left-facing bust of George Washington, engraved by John Flanagan in 1932 for the bicentennial of Washington's birth. The image was slightly modified in the late 1990s to fit the needs of the Statehood Quarters series, but its classical style remained unchanged. Encircling Washington's portrait are the standard inscriptions: United States of America at the top, the denomination $quarter at the bottom, liberty on the left, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," to the right of the bust. The mint mark, whether P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco proofs, appears just beside Washington's ponytail. This side of the coin is consistent across all state issues, ensuring that the reverse is where each state's unique story is told. It is a reverse design of the North Carolina quarter that captures the imagination and situates the coin firmly within a narrative of progress, innovation, and human daring. The central image depicts the Wright brothers' historic first powered flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, on December 17, 1903. Orville Wright is shown piloting the fragile flyer, while his brother Wilbur runs alongside to steady the aircraft as it lifts off from the sandy ground. The skeletal frame of the plane, its delicate wings and rudimentary engine, are portrayed with remarkable clarity for such a small canvas, symbolizing the birth of modern aviation. Encircling the scene are the inscriptions: North Carolina at the top, followed by 1789 below it, which marks the year North Carolina was admitted to the Union as a 12th state. Beneath the aircraft, in bold lettering, are the words "First Flight," forever tying the state's identity to one of humanity's most significant achievements. Along the lower rim, the Latin motto "E Pluribus Unum" appears, as it does on all U.S. coins, underscoring the unity of states within the Republic. The date 2001 appears below, marking the year of issue. The symbolism of this design is profound. While many state quarters highlight agricultural or cultural themes, the North Carolina issue points to a moment of global importance: the conquest of powered, controlled, heavier-than-air flight. Before the Wright brothers' success at Kitty Hawk, human flight had been a dream chased through balloons, gliders, and countless failures. The sandy dunes and steady winds of the Outer Banks provided the perfect laboratory for Orville and Wilbur, who combined mechanical ingenuity with daring persistence. By depicting this exact moment, the North Carolina quarter elevates not just state pride but a turning point in world history. This design reminds Americans that innovation and exploration often emerge from unlikely places, in this case, from two bicycle makers from Ohio who found their testing ground on the Carolina coast. The mintage history of the North Carolina state quarter is equally significant in numismatic terms. Struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, and at the San Francisco mint for proof issues, in both clad in silver, the combined mintage reach into the hundreds of millions, making the coin readily available in commerce. In fact, the 2001 North Carolina quarter saw one of the higher mintages of the early 2000s, reflecting both the popularity of the statehood quarters program and the broad distribution of U.S. coinage worldwide. The Philadelphia mint produced over 627 million circulation strikes, while the Denver mint struck more than 427 million, bringing the total over 1 billion pieces when combined with proofs. This immense production ensures that the coin is not rare in everyday circulated grades, but its abundance also reflects the enthusiasm of the American public, who collected these quarters by the millions straight from circulation. From a collector's perspective, condition and special strikes are what distinguish ordinary examples from valuable ones. Circulated pieces are common and worth only their face value, but uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, attract more serious numismatic interest. The luster, strike sharpness, and absence of contact marks are critical in grading. Proofs, struck with polished dies and on specially prepared planchets, offer mirror-like surfaces and sharp detail, often housed in mint or third-party holders. Of particular value are the silver-proof editions, struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, which combine the artistry of the design with intrinsic metal value. Error coins, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or coins with missing inscriptions, are also highly sought after, as they transform mass-minted currency into unique collectibles. The North Carolina quarter also resonates as an educational tool. Teachers, historians, and aviation enthusiasts use it as a tactile artifact to discuss the Wright brothers' early aviation and the role of North Carolina in shaping the 20th century. For children and young collectors, it serves as a bridge between pocket change and the story of human ingenuity. The phrase "first flight" encapsulates not only a state achievement, but also the broader human spirit of exploration, a theme that aligns with a larger American narrative of innovation, from westward expansion to space travel. Beyond numismatics, the coin is a miniature work of art. Its compact imagery captures the dynamic motion of the first flight, the flyer lifting from the sand, the human figure running alongside, and the suggestion of open air and possibility. For such a small medium, the coin conveys movement, struggle, and triumph. It elevates the humble quarter from a mere tool of commerce into a storytelling object, carrying with it pride, history, and identity. In the context of the 50-state quarters program, the North Carolina issue was the 12th release overall and the second in the year 2001, following Kentucky. Its placement was fitting. Kentucky's coin celebrated a song and a home, while North Carolina's celebrated flight and progress. The juxtaposition reminded collectors that the state series was designed not just to honor states individually, but to tell a broader American story through 50 interconnected symbols. Even today, more than 2 decades since its release, the North Carolina First Flight Quarter remains a common yet beloved find in pocket change. It is a coin that instantly sparks recognition, especially among those familiar with the Wright brothers' story. Collectors seek it in pristine condition, while casual hobbyists often hold on to it for its design alone. It represents one of the most iconic quarters of the entire state series, not only because of its strong historical subject, but because it ties the idea of state pride to a universal achievement, humanity's first steps into the sky. The Kentucky State Quarter, issued in the year 2001, belongs to the celebrated 50-state quarters program that ran from 1999 to 2008, a monumental initiative by the U.S. Mint to honor each of the 50 states with a unique reverse design on the familiar Washington quarter. The obverse of this coin maintains a classic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, originally engraved by John Flanagan and first used in 1932 to mark the bicentennial of Washington's birth. On this side, the inscriptions are standard across the series. United States of America arched across the top, liberty positioned to the left, in God we trust to the right of Washington's profile, and the denomination $quarter at the bottom. The mint mark, in this case a D for the Denver Mint, appears just right of Washington's ponytail ribbon. Collectors prize these mint marks, as they indicate the origin and total minted figures from either Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco proofs. Turning to the reverse, the Kentucky Quarter's design is a poetic and deeply symbolic representation of the state's identity, agricultural heritage, and cultural pride. The central image depicts the Federal Hill Mansion, popularly known as My Old Kentucky Home, which inspired the state's song of the same name, written by Stephen Foster in the 19th century. The mansion is rendered with careful architectural detail, reflecting its historic Georgian style, complete with its stately windows and gabled roofline, serving as a reminder of Kentucky's ties to early American settlement and antebellum history. In the foreground, a racehorse stands behind a traditional fence of plank rails, peering outward as though greeting the viewer. This horse is a direct nod to Kentucky's worldwide fame as a heartland of thoroughbred horse breeding and racing, with the annual Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs being one of the most iconic sporting traditions in America. The use of the fencing imagery reinforces Kentucky's landscape of sprawling pastures and carefully maintained farms, highlighting the union of natural beauty and human craftsmanship. Above the central scene, the legend Kentucky 1792 commemorates the year the state was admitted into the Union, making it the 15th state. Beneath the design, the words My Old Kentucky Home emphasize the song and landmark association, ensuring that the coin not only serves as a piece of currency but as a portable ambassador of state pride. On the upper band, the Latin motto E Pluribus Unum is inscribed, a standard feature across U.S. coinage, translating as out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the states forming one nation. In terms of production, the 2001 D Kentucky Quarter was struck at the Denver Mint in large numbers, alongside the Philadelphia Mint strikes and San Francisco's proof issues. In total, over 353 million circulation strikes were minted at Denver alone, which means that although the coin is not rare in general circulation, its condition and strike quality heavily affect its value in the numismatic world. Coins that remain in pristine mint state, MS-65 or higher, or appear in flawless proof condition with mirror-like field command collector premiums, especially when graded and encapsulated by services like PCGS or NGC. Errors, such as double strikes, misaligned dies, or off-center minting, are also of significant collector interest, as they introduce uniqueness to an otherwise mass-produced issue. The historical resonance of the Kentucky Quarter is particularly strong because it connects multiple layers of the state's identity, from architecture and music to racing and pastoral beauty. The design captures a kind of nostalgia, drawing on images of the antebellum South, while also celebrating the enduring role of Kentucky as America's horse capital. It blends a tangible, a home, a horse, a fence, with the intangible, a song, a tradition, a cultural symbol. This makes the quarter not only a monetary instrument, but a miniature canvas of history and heritage. For collectors, the Kentucky Quarter is also significant because it represents the 8th release in the State Quarters program. By 2001, public enthusiasm for the series had already surged, with millions of Americans eagerly checking their chains to find each new design. The Kentucky coin entered circulation alongside a wave of nostalgia and pride, encouraging everyday people to engage with numismatics in a way that had not been seen in decades. For young collectors in particular, these state quarters often represented their first tangible connection to coin collecting, and Kentucky's design, with its detailed mansion and spirited horse, became one of the more beloved entries in the early years of the program. From a broader perspective, the Kentucky State Quarter illustrates how coinage can serve as a storyteller of national identity. While the obverse ties back to the foundation of the Republic with George Washington, the reverse offers a specific narrative unique to Kentucky, reminding us that the strength of the United States lies in the diversity of its states and their cultural contributions. In this way, the coin is both local and national, both historical and modern, both functional currency and artistic emblem. Even today, nearly a quarter-century after its release, the Kentucky Quarter remains widely available in circulation, though those in higher mint states are increasingly set aside by collectors. Its appeal is not just monetary but symbolic, resonating with anyone who appreciates American history, architecture, equestrian culture, or the beauty of state-specific artistry. As such, it stands as a shining example of how a small piece of metal, only worth 25 cents in commerce, can carry within it centuries of history, tradition, and pride.